Okay, I'm managing network now. Network is really, really bad. One I'm out of Nigeria, it affects sort of our network. And today's topic is going to be really very interesting. Well, I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm not going to waste too much time, but I have a low battery so that we'll almost go straight to the point. There are very important things we need to quickly talk about. Some issues. Well, there'll not be any need for me to play music. Okay. There'll not be any need for me to play music. So, okay, yeah, interesting topic. Today we're going to be talking about Mr. Paul Philip Obotatewe. Osade Bame Odolige, did you travel? Sorry, I was supposed to ask after you. Me, I make big. So I hope everything is fine. One time you were trying to send your younger sister to me, Imagine or Imagine or 20 Harry. I would like quite a lot of Benin people, either male or female, to grow under my tutelage, and it's something I've always talked about. Mentorship is a very big problem that a lot of our people are missing. All right. So I'm a product of good mentorship. I've always talked about that. I'm a product of a good mentorship, and I'm hoping that um, we can work with the channel. Just a minute. Hey, by there, we are doing a niveau. Obama, ya chobo meze nunga. I need this glass of water. I need this glass of water. Okay. All right. Let's talk some pretty history. Meanwhile, Taiwan. I think some 20 things have happened in the past. I would love to talk about specific topics, uh, but I'm just going to cut them briefly. First, I was talking about mentorship. I'm a product of mentorship. Uh, I'm a product of mentorship. We have to find a way to. I've always talked about the likes of Dr. Ilawa, Professor Ilawa, Swanlele, Mr. Korigio Bobaifo, Dr. Aishene Hagosa, Chief Osemigi Eru, um, Dr. Aishene Hagosa, I've said it, Chief Samik Bedi, Yasser of Benin. Um, it's water. So, thank you. So, these I'm a product of their mentorship, and it's a problem that we need to face. Mentorship, people has to grow. Like a brother of mine who has been probably one of the most ardent follower of mine. I had promised him about 2 3 weeks ago that I have to find a way of eventually ensuring that this platform he also can come on live and talk about some aspect of whatever he thinks he wants to talk about, because we have to find a way to educate the younger ones too to also learn. Uh, all right, mentorship is very key and is very very vital, and it's one thing that I like probably to talk about the other time. The other one is the other one is the other one is Edo language. There was an argument. There was a particular video of an Edo language teacher. Or a video show no here where social media. No, see my showing a case on Facebook handle. Nia na my emo. Me na ya zedoe. Me na ya gbendoe. Or me na be ya hen. Edo na zesi. Na tie, wherever an interview was conducted in Nortai Shona Dwaro, Yana Sultan, all that. A particular young guy, and I know Taiso again, no Taiso. He was a not Dimewo, was Omaiwa Omagwari Wane Yota. And he was very proud about it. That was what pissed me off. Then I had made a post that useless generation and some young chaps, some very young chaps, all right, picked offense. So that's why I want to quickly say this on social media, that any generation of an Edo person who has failed Iguazedo, a lot of persons when they hear Otima Power or Mr. Shoidin, probably Oga life of abandoned day by ma, Oga on Obita Severio, where is Zedo and all of that. And I told him that the nature of my audience or see any nice Zedo because I programming, ni be done here programming, na me because we're trying to preach the history to the nooks and crannies of the world. So in our, I don't have around we don't know. So I probably didn't speak English until I got to probably 15 or 20. As a boy, as a pigeon, upper boy, every our boy, so, but the bottom line is, I was trying to tell him that any man, there is no excuse on earth that makes a man not to understand or speak the modern language. Most especially, we have to do something about that. Omo awa oyi, uti oyi. Ede do time. Gwe do ariye awo pepo ya do aye no sinoi. I tag them a useless generation, a generation that is proud not to speak his or her language is a very, very useless generation. Very useless. There is no pride. Well, Shoinka, it's one of the highest authority on English literature today. He probably didn't speak English probably until he gets to 20 years of age. And according to Iyasobe, that's pidgin. In other words, even if we're trying to imitate the white people and speaking their language, we can't even speak the language well. And that becomes okay, you do up already, and I already am for grow. Got to already in 1994, so that's where I left. That's where my dad had a house and all. So, in other words, why I'm saying this is that if you are unable to teach your children, most especially a Edo man, not necessarily an Edo woman, the reason is because I had an Igbo friend who married an Edo girl. I attended the wedding ceremony. We're childhood friends. And he asked me, what kind of dress should I dress? And I was like, well, I would like you to dress on an Edo dressing, but you are the man. Dress on your Igbo dressing is so easy because even if I'm marrying an Igbo woman or a Yoruba woman or whatever ethnic group, I will not dress their own dressing. As soon as I have to dress my own Edo dressing because I'm the man. Anyhow, people want to say, I like being in charge as a man. I like fucking being in charge. Everybody that knows me knows that. I'm, I'm, I'm a typical African man to the core. I like being extremely in charge. I like being extremely in charge. So, any man that has failed to teach his or her children the other language has failed as a father or as a parent. Because the first duty you own to your children is them understanding your language. It's them understanding your language. So in my time, I've made an example. I was like, I've seen Edo professors. I've seen Edo chiefs living in Edo. And I tell them that Mavis is going to be a very typical example where I will teach you all your obvious failure. Imagine an Edo man. I've spoken about these things. People don't take a lot of these very important issues very. Imagine an Edo man marrying an Igbo woman. Then 6 months or a year later, the Igbo woman cannot speak Edo language. He has failed as a man. And I have a couple of other friends and people I look up to that has failed. And I tell them blankly that, sorry, but to me, you have failed though. If you, as an Edo man who speaks the language very fluently and on however Bazedo and all of that, do you not expect your children to speak? So I'd use that word, useless generation, because I also certain they are very useless. Yes, that's what pisses me off. Madam Lillian also eating. That's what pisses me off. And they're very comfortable with it. They take pride. I had a brother who obviously was not speaking Edo, but he was so ashamed of it. He was remorseful. And he will pay for any available space to learn the Edo language. These are the people I said, okay, mistakes was made when they were growing up. He's willing to correct the mistake. But the generations we have now, most of them are so fucking proud. Oh, uncle, I know they speak benin. Yes, I know that's it. I don't understand. How do the Yoruba parents do it? How do the Igbo parents do it? Well, anyway, I don't know. See, to me, as an adult man, if I don't marry an adult woman, eventually, when I mean adult man, or and I cannot force my wife or ask my wife, it's part. I tell people, I say that proudly, or don't and all of that. A lot of you, probably in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, in the next year, when I eventually want to get married, all right? I'm going to bring my wife down to one of the live video, and she's going to speak Edo language because it's part of the contract. It's part of the contract. It's part of the agreement I must have. I have to agree with her. One of the reasons I will have to marry you is for you to learn my language. It has to be. It's an agreement. A love is shaki. If she can't learn my language, then I can't marry her. It's as simple as ABCD. If she can't learn my language, I can marry her. It's not possible. I pick so much interest in that. If she can't speak my language, not just speak fluently, I can marry her. It has to be an agreement. Oh, I will enroll you in Edo. I will give you all of the. I will pay $1 million for you to learn Edo language. It's the best. It's the biggest. Umae esino sau nwe nuna amera no mawedo because era ni bunvedo they take pride. And it's appalling. Anyway. Amaka some people it's maizy. Oh, maizy. Very well. Viyuwe. Biyamawe donaze. What's the pride about in? Well, I speak Edo. I don't speak Edo as fluent as I speak English. Quite all right. And I'm not happy about it. But I speak Edo as best as any of my age mate can. And that consoles me. Because I don't take pride in education. I don't take pride in how best you can speak English language, because it isn't our language, as a matter of fact. I don't take pride in that. That guy speaks very good English. A lot of people thrills like, Izodoa speaks very good English. But it doesn't thrill me. It might thrill other people, but it doesn't thrill me. What thrills me is that, a guy knows Zedoria. A guy needs Zedoria. Like, it thrills me. Anyway, different interest, different problems. And then no DP say uga mwegbe. I'll give you a very good example. I'm a football fan. Manchester United fan. Manchester United is signing a Spanish player. Manchester United would do everything to ensure that the Spanish player speaks English language so as to acculturate properly. AC Milan signs an English player. AC Milan has to ensure that the English player speaks very good Italian so as he can acculturate. That's how it has to be. That's how it has to be. There's nothing difficult about it. Edo language Ikbokwa. Edo language Facebook. It's not readily available. Facebook page. Una morion yemi. Oke suke haya muki ne. Oh way. Orioni no. Yema bazedo be. I go up ban azedo. Azedo Vedonia. Anyway, the only Tyson on that issue of the language, so that I don't overstress. I don't overstress that matter beyond what it is. Now, I want to quickly speak about the matter before we go to the main topic of today, the hierarchical organization of Benin Kingdom. I wanted people to understand how some of these things works, how some of these creations of titles has been able to work over the years to suit the age-long precedents of our history. All right. Well, that's about what we want to talk about. But before then, there are some slight issues that came up. Slight issues about. I usually try not to speak about things or trying to be very. I try to play diplomacy on some subject matters because even if I know I'm not speaking 100% the truth, I try to play diplomacy about it. Why do I play diplomacy about it? I don't want people to still look at us as the people that is so proud and so arrogant, but it's getting to a point where I have to say, come on, fuck you. This is the truth. All right? Some very useless Ishekiri people, very useless, Ishekiri people are beginning to piss me off. Very useless. Are beginning to piss me off by trying to, deliberately, trying to speak badly or trying to revise our history on some very annoying notes. Let me use the word annoying note. E.g., that the word Idaiken came from a Shekiri. That the word Idia was actually the mask of Don Domingo. That the Ishekiri, that the Benin history, that part of the Benin history is part of the Benin history was stolen from the Shekiri history. Let me say this very clearly. I have a lot of Shekiri followers and all of that. If it gets to them, you people had no history. You people had no history. Are you listening to what is otherwise saying? You people had no history until we brought history to your people. You were people without no history. You were people without no background. You were people without no recognition until we brought our history to you and civilized your people. And that's a clean fact. And that is the clean fact. You had no history. So stop competing with the ethnic group that gave you your identity. It is stupidity. All right? It is stupidity. Stop competing with the ethnic group that gave you what you are today. We made the Shekiri people. The history that they are proud of, they are so fucking proud of the Don Domingo. I don't know whether all these people are direct sons of the Benin people. The people that they brag about are Benin ancestors or have Benin ancestry. You understand? So I don't understand how can an ethnic group say that part of the history that the Benin people owns was stolen from Ishekiri that we founded, like basically, because you had no recognition. No one talked about you. You were basically non-existent. You were basically non-existent. You had no fucking recognition. Sorry, I used the word F. You had no recognition until the Benin people came and brought you from the primordial dungeon of history that you were and gave you civilization. The same Benin people now, you people now come out and say that the word Idia, the word Daiken, that some of the names of the Obas were gotten from Ishekiris and all of that. What nonsense! What history? I just got angry when a lot of persons sell me a lot of articles for whatever nonsense reasons, trying to now be having an interpares conversation between the Benins and the Shekiri in terms of history. Come on! That adwa simiyo edome oha no ogi Shekiri. Nima. I don't know how to say it so that you people will understand why I'm so pissed. Like the people that you made who they are. That the people that the beginning of the entire history of that land started from 18 or somewhere in the 15th century when the Benin went to farm there. If they have any history beyond Genoa, it's revisionism. There is no single history about those people until Genoa went there. I heard one nonsense. I was tagged in a particular post on they were trying to, they say the Ekben and all of that founded Okere, that Okere belongs to, by that fact, Okere belongs to Shekiri and not to Orobo. You people should shut up your mouth. If a Benin man founded Okere, it is the Benin people that will tell whether Okere belongs to Shekiri or Orobo. If not, Okere is an Orobo town. Now the rightful owner, now we get that place. So now we will feel tell. It has nothing to do with Shekiri. All right? Now we get that place. Now we will feel tell who get them or who wants support. I don't understand. You know, I try to play very intellectual diplomatic modes in interacting with some of these people. But they'll go all viral, they go all virulent, they go all bittered. About what? About your senior? Not even your senior, about your own father? How can you get bittered about your father because your father has a greater history than you? Why should you be envious? We are proud. If Ishekiris are doing well, we are proud of them. They are our children. We are proud of what you guys have achieved. But don't start making comparison. We gave you the history. The very essence of what you have was gotten from us. You cannot deny that. It is undeniable. It is the reality of the truth. It is the reality of the truth. So you coming up with a Benin man, start arguing with an Ishekiri man over supremacy issue is something that I feel that any Edo man, right-thinking Edo man, should not condescend to start having that kind of deliberation of history, that kind of deliberation of words, because it doesn't worth it. How can I be arguing with an Ishekiri person over history? How? When I know somewhere in our past lies the beginning, all right? Almost at the tail end of our history lies the beginning of their history. Why should I make that comparison? Why should I even argue? Why should I start that? You see why I don't comment when I'm being tagged about some of those issues. I don't. I can't see myself arguing with an Ishekiri person over some issues that now you get Daiken, now you get Idia, now you get this. I don't understand. You understand? That's the issue. I don't blame them. I don't blame all of these people. I don't blame them. Assuming if the British didn't come in 1897, would an Ishekiri man be looking at the face of the Benin man telling him that we gave you, it start rubbing shoulders in terms of history? Would they have done that? They wouldn't dare. So I don't want to have all of these conversations with. I try to be very, like I said before, I try to be very diplomatic over some very issues. I try to be very diplomatic about some issues. Those issues that I try to be very diplomatic about are some of these things that come back to enchant me because I just want to be diplomatic. I heard now they said they're not referring to Ogiame as Oba, all right, because for whatever reasons, if they like, me they give an Igwe. If they like, me they give an Obi. If they like, me they give an Queen of England. It is not our own, concern us. That is not our headache. They are just one of our sons. Like the other day, what pissed them off when I was trying to say that, it is written, should I bring the book and read it to them? When it was founded as a dukedom, well explicitly written by their topmost historian, not all these Facebook busybodies. Topmost historians, that when Junuwa founded it, they find it as a kingdom. It grew over the years to become a kingdom. It was founded as a dukedom, and that's the reality. And I try to pick that. I was not the one who said it, but that was the reality. It was founded as a dukedom. Someone who who is working, who is at the level of Nogi Olugbo, Nogi Enya, and all of that. Now they come they say, Adwata, come they one they argue. Very ungrateful set of human beings. Very ungrateful set of human beings. Very ungrateful set of human beings. I'm supposed to act big Edo. Act big Edo. Becomes a problem. How can Ihiawo Edoya Akpite Ihiawo Tasenonya Emanote support no begima Bafinu Gima. Well, no one is saying you shouldn't show your allegiance To the Yoruba, we don't care. But your very history, all right, lies somewhere in our history. And you must recognize and respect that. You must recognize and respect that. It is belittling for me and an Ishekiri person to be having an historical debate over what? Over supremacy? People whose history was just established just somewhat 600 years ago. Just somewhat 600 years ago. Benediama. Oh, wow, now we fuck up. Now we fuck up. I don't blame them. Now the British I blame. And the British, I don't blame them. I don't blame any of these tribes. But I'm raising their shoulders. I don't blame them. I blame the British. If Benin Empire was still a sovereign nation, like it was, I'm sure all of these nincompoops will not be coming and be exchanging words. On history? No, you can't. We are here, you are there. But we are there, we are up there, you are down there. And that's the reality. No, I joke with a lot of things, but let's get this thing all planed up. Can't be arguing with you guys over history, over because you want to get relevance. My yegbe. Okay, now this is Noel Omo. This is where I have. See, I need to take some of their so-called elites, these young lads. I need to take them down on a debate. I've always told them on a debate so that I can completely school them. First, Genoa was not the next Oba of Benin. Let people get that into their teen skull. Genoa was not the crown prince. Genoa was not the crown prince. And moreover, even if Genoa was a crown prince, and so the institution is the throne, it's not the occupant. I've always told people when you say Oba talk, but you are not saying it to only Oba Why the second. You are saying it to I will buy an area Oba Vedo Kogiso. All right? When you say Oba Gatokbe, you are not only saying it to Oba Why the second, you're saying it to every other Oba that has sat on the throne. The throne is the institution and not the occupant. Even if Genoa was the next Oba of Benin, he does not automatically means that wherever he becomes a king, he will usurp the authority of the throne, the institution that begat him. The throne is the institution, is bigger than every occupant. You have to understand that. Even, look at what I said, even if Genoa was to be the Oba of Benin, he still would not be greater than a Okoko. Is bigger than any other princes or full-blood human beings that come out from the royal house. And I've said it many times, that why do you think, not rightly so though, that a lot of Yoruba people believe that Oni is sort of, well, I don't know, whatever, chief priest or whatever, is the greatest in Yoruba land. It's simple, not because of him. Everybody knows that how irrelevant historically the Oni is. It's because of the clemency that he sits on the throne of Oduduwa. The throne is the institution. It's not the occupant. Common sense. Everybody should know that now. But in his case, he was not even the crown prince. He was not even supposed to be the next Oba. Otherwise, did you see Genoa fighting to be the Oba of Benin? No, he didn't. He didn't. Most of Obas that were denied the throne, most of the crown princes that were denied of the throne, they fought back and reclaimed the throne back. Genoa did not fight back. Why? Because he knew that by the level of the type of the kingship we were practicing at that time will not enable him, does not legitimize his claim to the throne. So that is why he never had any clemency to the throne. But his own Chinua never returned back. He never returned back because he knew he had no claim to the throne. We practiced, I've had this class before. We practiced, the Benin practiced a first generational kingship, like the one that you see in Saudi Arabia and even some part of Yoruba land. First generation. For example, if I'm the Oba of Benin, for example, I have 4 sons. The four of my sons must become Oba of Benin first before we now consider the grandchildren, my grandchildren. That's what we call first generational kingship. It's rotational. So there was a standing law. EY said all his children must become the Oba of Benin. So Ezoti, one of the sons of EY, was already the Oba of Benin. He had died. The second one was Olua. He had already become the Oba of Benin and died. And it is Olua that gave birth to Jinua. But Olua had a younger brother. The rotational kingship states that the younger brother must become an Oba first before we now start looking at the next generation. Before we now start considering, okay, Ezoti's first son, if ever Ezoti doesn't have son, before we now get to Olua, first son, which was Jinua. So there was an uncle that has a legitimate claim to the throne before. That was why Jinua was not considered. Rather, Jinua's auntie, Princess Ideleyo, because of the kingship we're practicing at that time. We're not practicing primogeniture. I've said it severally. So let nobody who is not aware of the Benin history say that Jinua has a legitimate claim to the throne. Why didn't he fight for the throne? When he now became the Ogiame of Iwe, which was even gotten from the Benin word, Ewe, why didn't he now return to now want to fight? At least when Oromia came to Benin, went to Oyo, he came back and fought for the throne of Oduduwa. Why didn't he now fight back? I was so. Might drink some more water. So let's call a spade a spade. And let's put our history into the right perspective. Huh? All right. Having said that, memolog benin. Yeah, so my brother. Yeah, I've obviously tolerated their nonsense. All right? I've obviously tolerated their nonsense. And I can't, because I had a very close relationship with the late Olu, allow these unscrupulous elements tear our history apart. For what? What are we sharing? We are not in the Shekiri space. They're in their space. Now then one begin one condition. Follow us, they drag our space for Ologbo. We don't. My name Massimi. We are not dragging for any property. We are not dragging for any history. All right? You are somewhere in Delta. We are somewhere in Edo. We are not dragging for. We are just saying that the history should be put in the right perspective. We gave birth to your history. There is no history about those people prior before 1485. If there are, that is because of revisionism. I've read quite a lot of their books. And everything always pointed to Genoa. So how come the people that gave you the history that you are now proud of, how come the people that gave you the history that you are now proud of, you are maligning them? Assuming Genoa never came to Ishekiri, do you think anybody would have known whether those people that were less than 10 in number had existed? If not because of the organization that Genoa brought from Benin with his chiefs that the sons of the chiefs that he brought from Benin, that already understood what kingship is all about, what organization was all about, what government is all about. Do you think that anybody like the Portuguese, the Dutch, they are not proud of blah, 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 nonsense? Do you think anybody would have knew whether a tribe of 10 people or whatever had existed? How did Obama get to where did the layer get the throne after Allah in place of Genoa? Got the throne. I've said this, Arrow Anthony, several times. I've said this severally, my brother, about it. Delaya couldn't become the Oba because when she was on the way to be institutionalized into the Daikenship. They said nonsense at Daikenship. Let me say this for free. Let me quickly say this for free. I just remembered something. Let me quickly say this something. These people are saying that we got a Daiken from Ishekiri. What nonsense? They say we got a Daiken from Ishekiri. The term, I explained it, I think, in my last class or my last two classes. The formation of the term a Daiken, 2 words, Iken, a personality, and a Dai, holder. All right? Now, that event, the term a Daiken, had existed somewhat around 1470. That story had happened around 1470. That was almost 15 years before Genoa left Benin to establish Warri Dukedom. Oh, sorry, or Ishekiri Dukedom. More appropriately, Ishekiri Dukedom. That was almost 15 years. The title was already existing before Ishekiri became known to history. That was almost 15 years. That story of a Daiken was almost about the year 1470. And we founded a a dukedom, rightly, in a place now called Warri in 1485. Then automatically, someone, how do I explain it? Someone who came from your scion, who you gave birth to, is not telling you that they own you. People you own is not telling you that they own you. People you own are not telling you that they own your history, that you came to borrow history. So people you gave birth to, all right, is not coming to tell you that they own your history. Sometimes I don't get. The first Daiken of Uselu was instituted around 1471, between 1470 and 1472, because Ewari died in 1473, around 1470. That was the first Daiken Koboiwa. We had a Daiken institution was already institutionalized in Benin 15 years before what is now known as Ishekiri or its people, whatever, was founded, was established. You understand? They are not just only confused, they are the most ungrateful. I've never seen people this ungrateful. I have never seen. I've still saying it. People, they do ungrateful for life before, but this one are the highest. And the people make you form, they will come and tell you, say, now then Sabi pass you. I've never seen this height of ungratefulness in my life. You want to tie your history with the Yoruba, no problem. Tie it. But you were formed in 1485 by Benin royalty and nobility. You own all duty of morality to always acknowledge that at all times before any other thing. You own it as a duty to always acknowledge that before any other thing. Before you know now, they'll say that Ekmen. Me still go establish Okiri, Ekmenede. Before you know now, they'll say Ekmenede na Ishekiri word or Yoruba word. Or the official na the last born of Oni. Me come carry war, come Bini, now I come become Ekmenede. then he can't stay for Benin before he can't leave, say, a Yoruba person. We'll soon also hear that story now. I've never seen people so blatantly, so full of themselves, and so takes pride in obvious, petty lies. And we will support our Urobo to claim their rightful property. We know where our son, Jinua, they should come and meet us. Urobo people should come and meet us. Now we will tell Urobo people where our son, Junua, established for himself. The rest place, now Urobo get him. So that place make they say Urobo now and Ishekiri they drag. That okay. And they say like man, thank God say they never denied that one, say na Benin person. Now I can establish there with his Benin warriors. So therefore me say na Benin land. So now we will talk who get there. Whether na Ishekiri or Urobo, most likely we will say na Urobo get him. So not be Ishekiri people, can't tell Benin people where they get for inside worry. And now we will tell them where we get for worry. But the origin now is getting to a point where every man will answer a papa name. Because nobody they feed each other. Alright? If you na about they vient fian no fian rien d'autre. You understand? Very, if not because of what happened in 1897, would all of these people had the guts to look into the first? All of these people would they able to look into the face of the Edo people and tell them that all of these their history is their history. When I get history, say Benin history. Benin is trying to take their history. What nonsense history? We founded you. If you think you are achieving, we're proud. The father is proud of the children for doing well. You come to Benin, we'll clap for you that you guys are doing well. You are representing us. Yes, the greatness of your ancestors, the blood of your ancestors flow through you. Why not the other way around? You're trying not to come and tell us, say, na sabi pass us. How? Okra not they grow pass on. If the okra want to grow, you bend and you break. We understand. That's not that. Those who lose and the intelligent nobles, they don't doubt that. I'm not referring to those people who know. I'm not referring to their lose and all of that. They are aware. They can't deny it. They can't deny it. The history of founding of Warri is a more straightforward history in the canals of all history in Nigeria descent. It's too straightforward. It's a very straightforward history. They have not been able to deny it. They wish they can't deny it. They wish. It is their regret that they should deny it. If they pain them, now so it will continue to pain them till the end of this life. There's nothing they can do. Like me, they join the rest, they tie Oba, they say Oba come from Ile-Ife, Oba Benin come from Ile-Ife. The history did not say Jinua left Ile-Ife. That's not what the history said. The history did not say that Jinua is the son of the Oni of Ife. The history did not say that when Jinua was leaving Benin or Ife, that he left with Yoruba princes or 17 sons of the Yoruba chiefs. That's not what the history said. The history said that Jinua was the son of the Oba of Benin. He left with other Benin nobles. That's what the history said. So let me see how they want to contain the Bokora, find a way of wriggling around it to suit their unnecessary, self-centered, stupid pride. Stupid pride. Some people want to follow us, the drag history. Now, Shekiri, will they follow Benin people, the drag history? We're going to check that. It's not balanced now. People want to follow us, the drag history. When great empires like Songhai, the Mali, understand, are dragging history with Benin Empire. Now 250,000 population people now going to drag history with Benin people. Now going to drag history. Some local champions are going to drag history with Benin people. I don't understand. When they're talking about the history of world civilizations, we know our mates. You get people who are supposed to say, oh, okay, now here your empire reach. Oh, okay, now here our empire for starts. All right. Oh, we're going to drag people. We're going to drag history. That kind of people with that great history, with that great civilization. We're going to drag history with some common local champions. I'm gonna check this thing and not balance. Now wait till they pay me. You understand? Wait till they pay me. Now wait till they pay me. What do you know about African great civilizations? Can't mention 10 African or first 5 African great civilizations without mentioning Benin Empire. Gonna drag with Shekiri Dukedom. So because if you upgrade and come kingdom, we are proud, we are happy it's kingdom now. Gonna follow as a drag. Probably became kingdom somewhat in 16th century. That's like 400 years ago. Benin have been a kingdom since 40 BC. Kingdom since 40 BC. Now come antenna in about 16th, 17th century. Now no one let us hear word. It's just like Papa don't become professor at the age of 12. Then Pikin can become first degree holder at the age of 90. You can't say in no book pass it Papa or he did more excel it pass it Papa. What did I do? I became a first degree holder when I've not even founded your mother. No, you think about say I can't give your mother belly. You're not drunk. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny. You understand? It's like a story of wishes were horses. How can an elephant be struggling, will not be dragging history with ants? It'd be a car. It pains me. Talking about world civilizations. We're talking about world civilizations. African world civilizations. Call it Shekiri. I don't blame them. When I'm here. Bedoya zitani When I'm here boy no iuna songwe abie bonetu songwe I've forgotten it how Benin says that parent. When I'm here boy no so iuna songwe I forgot when do ya pitani Nini ya mi ma no ayana we are magili they do time not British. If not British. If not British. If not British. Ah, Jesus. Oh, God. Olu to boy or do you know do temini. If not we are never guy. Not British. Ah, no, if not British. No, not British. We try to play diplomatic. We try to be subtle. We try to be diplomatic. We try to be very subtle in relationship with our neighbors. Our brothers were supposed to be who now call themselves as neighbors and they no longer regard us as brothers. We try to be very diplomatic. We try to bridge a bond. We've always been like this big brother to everybody. We allow people to do things to us and go scot-free because we wanted that unity, wanted that Yeah, they came from months and all of that. They go through, they use that levity to go and cast aspersion against people that made them who they are. Wanna check on that, not be waiting, not be. Emi no heke na do agwankan, do tie. Emi no suppose na do. Anyway, exactly. Eboga fugbe inwi son var okay, inwi son varwe, inwi son rwe or garwe. Okay, eboga fugbe inwi son gwe. You know, it do tie. That do titano defwa. It do tie. Eboga fugbe inwi son gwe. It yogi ye. You might do fugbe. Or in the name of diplomacy. Nya zaga. Nya wazaga. Nya gbeo. Be a kanate di by mokoko. Na do amunya. Nya do amuin yaga. Just to feel good on social media space. If you are envious of our history, the envy will kill you because you can't change it. History, you can change history. If you are envious of a particular history, you can change it. The history will kill you. You don't get history new. If you are envious of a particular history, there are things you need to get envious of. There are things you don't get envious about. If you're envious of a particular people because of their history, the envy will kill you, will completely annihilate you from the surface of the earth. The reason is because you can change history. You can change history. You can change history. Do not get envious to the state that you want to not challenge that history. Oh man. Anyway, it's in your channel. A Facebook, my Facebook messenger is going to be filled up. My WhatsApp is going to be filled up in the next 24 hours, like they always do. All right? It's going to be filled up. Like I always do, what I'm very good at, they know, I ignore. If there is another classification for chief ignorer, I ignore. I even saw some people on my messenger today. I don't know them. They are using very different Facebook. They were insulting me and all of that. This other one will never reply. If I don't know you, I will just block you. I don't have time to be discussing. I've never argued with all of them. A lot of you people have been tagging me in some posts that one Dede, whatever, Chibu used to post and all of that. Have you seen me arguing with him? Like me responding? I don't respond. I'll just read and I was like, oh, okay. I can. And a do man be arguing with an Ishekiri man over history. Then I am mimafu. How can I be arguing? In the beginning, when you're beginning of history, it's somewhere at how do I put it? Let me not say tail end, because history still keep repeating. It's keep going and all of that. History have been made every day. How do I put it? Like someone whose beginning of history lies somewhere in our glorious years. Someone no zigenge, no zokba. wohagedo, not zolanya wohagedo. So I don't know. I'm looking for someone who can actually use the right word to actually portray how I feel about these things. How can people who, along the line of our history, they now came out. They're just like offshoots out of hundreds of offshoots. One of them, they just came out. And they're not sounding all black. Okay. Anyway, I was supposed to talk about the hierarchical organization of Benin Kingdom, where I wanted to take us through some elementary classes of how hierarchies were being formed, how the Oba decided to create councils of state, which Nagiti a higher Oba, either whatever classes, either at the level of yes, we have Benin. It's not wrong to say we have Benin. Either at a higher Oba, sorry, a higher Oba, all right, more it doesn't even need Mr. Ezodwa, the new game. He doesn't even need to say that. Because it's behind Teta, Mr. Sao Mojo. Behind Teta, what would he not say before? That he came from Ife? Or that he came from South Sudan? That's what is expected for him to say, because that's the truth. Except he wanted to lie. If he's to speak the truth, that's the truth. Everybody knows that story is very glaring, it's very clear. It's not something you can change. It's not something you can alter. It's not something you can play around with. It is straightforward, very, very straight. Very straight. Egya de no dwa, agbelega, egya agbelega. That's all agbelega. Agbelega ene. And that's because there's nothing the Kukere priest can do. The Onwambe priest, there's nothing he can't do. It's a straightforward history. I didn't know. I didn't know my brother is this funny. Kukere. All right. No. Manson Bolaji. Yes, I tried. See, if you understand me, I don't talk the way I'm talking like this. All right? I give respect to these people before now. I've been very diplomatic about relationships. But these people are taking us for a ride. They're taking our kind dispensation, our big brother dispensation. Like, oh, okay, no problem. Yes, no. Allow the matter slide. They're taking it for a ride, and it's getting too much. They're taking it for a ride. I don't speak like this. They're taking it for a ride. And that's why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking. May they use this live video take day for a while. You understand? So before we see take them easy. Okay, you to agbe. And I mean, anyway. Yeah, same matter now, but like, so maybe next week we're going to now talk about the organization, the hierarchical organizations. I'm worried to actually, because there were some questions that were going on. I saw some questions that were flying up about some people asked that after the Oba of Benin, who is the next in commander, sort of a thing. Some people said Olia, some people said Iyase, and all of that. I wanted to use these. I wanted to use a wider explanation to actually make people see the complexity of the question asked and the simplicity of the answer that can be provided. There are no um, their complexity. You can't just say as a little about some. There might be people that deputizes functionally to the Oba in terms of administration, while some um, 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 that is how do I put it? Deputizes in terms of um, administratively. There are some that deputizes after the Oba traditionally. So they cannot really basically be Nozele Loba. In what sense becomes the question that should be asked. In what sense? Or in what sense? Deputy in function. Deputy in function. Like when you mean if the Oba is not around, who can that is deputizes in function, not in hierarchy. I don't know whether you understand what some of these things, when you're trying to explain some things, you just feel that you just hope that you can get a perfect word statement that can really envelope how you want to project the whole thing. Not like Nozele Loba, who deputizes in function. In function. In function. Ya has done even do. No we me no bagie wo baro wa. No we me no bagie function no bagie me emi na u function. Emi no heki na u. No way he or battle. Yeah, do his logo. No. I'm not saying deputy king or queen. What I have said, Mr. Francis Ogeria, he is functionality, not something like a dio, not like I made dioba. It's like in functions. Functionality. Their administrative functionality, their transitional functionality, their protection functionality in terms of warfare. Uh, you know, various functionalities. Okay. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. But okay, next week, go. I want us to functionally. I want us to go home. This is the topic we need to speak on. I want us to go read about it. All right, I want us to go read a lot of top titles like the Uwangues, the Se, the Ine, the Oshoidin, the Olia, the Ero, the Yase, the Shop. I want us to go read about the top chieftaincy titles and top Aegeon of Benin Kingdom. I want us to go read some certain things about them online, offline, through tests and all of that, so that by next week Sunday, when I'm now talking about some of these things, we can be on almost the same. How do you? When I see the way they do hand. I see the way they do it. I don't know what I want to talk. I'm just, I'm just doing my hand like this. Exactly, almost the same page. Uh, almost the same page. I had to do my hand. A park with code, Mr. Level. All right, so that everybody can be on the same page, on the same level. So that it becomes a lot easier when we're discussing issues like this. So, um, so I want to thank all of you. A lot of people have been like, Izodowa doesn't sound the way he sounds. Don't worry, I'm naturally a very calm speaker. A lot of people are just, this one is Izodowa, they shout today. What question, Mr. Frank? Amy, Amy, Narau, Namaiu, or Yebunse? I, don't- I don't know the abbreviation of what that Amy means. So, Amy Narau, Amy Namaiu, Amy Bunau. Um, so, uh, it should be yeah, it should, is that, so Frank, Amy, what was the question? So I'm leaving here now, so that I can just quickly answer that before leaving. So we're closing. So I thank all of you that joins me. Okay, so we have a topic for next week Sunday. So go read about it, and so we can really deliberate on it. It's going to, let's make it as educative as possible. Yata weta, let's make it as educative as possible. The program is meant to be very educative, wherefore I speak on some matters you disagree about it. Don't look at me as an authority. Look at me as you. Look at me as a novice. I speak on some certain matters. You say no, Eddie Yahon. Then, and I said, okay, why Yahon? Oh, okay, let's deliberate on it. Let's deliberate on it, and we can get to deliberate on it as on the same page, like as we're in the same historical level. I don't. I'm looking for what to actually use for that, and so that we can vibe together, we can cash cruise together. So I thank all of you. Why I was say so. I'll see you guys next week on Sunday. My name remains. Oh, okay. Imagine I'm always Waya Wese. And there was a guess out of ignorance that Edo call ourselves Benin. I think we've tried to answer that a couple of times. Try to answer that. Oh, there's another thing I was supposed to speak about. Okay, I'll take it down to next week Sunday so that we can speak on that. Yeah, Benin. Ovieduhi, I'm a Benin person. It's Benin's more of like it doesn't it doesn't only, it's not just about the geographical location. The language is Edo, it's not Benin. The language that the Benin people speaks, the language that Nivia does, I'm a Benin person. It's more of like the Benin's like the is the English version, or let me use a word now, permitted, of the international version of the localized. Edo looks local while Benin looks. Otherwise, they are interchangeably almost the same thing, except for the fact that Benin covers more space geographically and Edo is more confined. Edo is inside Benin. Benin is not inside Edo. I've always said that. Oviedo here, it's more restricted to 7 local governments, Oviedo. But when you said I'm a Benin person, it therefore means you can be Esan, you can be Esako, you can be Query, you can be Urobo, you can be whatever. All right? So, but the language, the Edoid speakers, language, it's Edo. Even in Maze at Edo. But the people and the geographical space can also be called Edo. But Edo, it's more like, when you say I'm an Edo person, to me, I'm looking at you that you're from the 7 local governments. I'm not saying Edo State. Edo State is different from Edo. I'm looking at you from coming from the 7 local government. But when you say I'm a Benin person, what part of Benin are you from? Oh, yeah. I'm an Isoko Benin. Exactly. I'm an Esan Benin. Exactly. Um, I okay. This is a very wrong. Okay, you know my personal page, Essence Warrior. Essence Warrior. You know my personal page, Manswin is Oduwa. You can send me a personal message so that you can actually educate me, or you can come join us next week Sunday so that you can actually educate us or what you meant when you said it is wrong teaching. I'm sure that if I actually taught wrongly, I will apologize and make corrections. If um, uh, if my teachings were wrong, I'll make corrections, and I was like, okay, since your teachings are correct, apologize. I wasn't too much aware. Then I'll read more to get to know more. Exactly. Okay, so we all learn. Don't worry. When people see me from afar, they feel that maybe it could be rude when we try to correct him. People who have had a one-on-one conversation with me knows that no, I'm not like that. If you correct me, then I will learn. All right, but there might not be time for you to correct me now because we're rounding up. But next week Sunday by 7:30, join us so that you can correct me or correct some of my teachings. And then, but if you feel that you don't want to do it publicly, send me a text on my inbox. Then if you're very correct, then I'll come back next week Sunday to make proper correction for my wrong teachings. But before then, God bless all of you. Madam Essence, working Arabo, how about talk about so I'll see you guys. I know soon I don't go watch Big Brother Niger. Anyway, I'm a fan of good ultimate sesh. I'm a big